This is part 2 of the video, Top 10 Misconceptions About NLP. If you haven't watched the first part, the link is in the description.
Number 4 misconception, and maybe this comes from the name, I don't know, neuro-linguistic programming, right? But the number 4 misconception is that NLP is complicated. And it turns out that NLP is actually very simple. Now, the downside of NLP is that there does tend to be jargon. Just like any field, we use words like submodalities and four tuples, and all of these words that when people hear them, it kind of scrambles their brain and they're like, I don't know what that means, selectional restriction violations and things like that. But just like any field, you can learn the jargon fairly easily, right? It just takes a little bit of being in the environment and having someone teach you what those words mean. Ultimately, when it comes down to it, the jargon isn't necessary to practice NLP. And that's one of the things that I've been well known for in this field. I've been in the field for 24 years. I've been learning NLP for 26 years. And I'm often told that when people hear other NLP trainers talk, it's kind of like, what are they saying? It sounds like a different language. When they hear me talk, they're like, oh, now I get it. And so, that's not only with me, but all of our trainers at Transform Destiny. We tend to take NLP and simplify it because it doesn't have to be complicated for you to get results with it, right? Now, we are going to teach you the jargon. You should know the common lingo in a field if you're going to be a professional in the field, but it doesn't mean that it has to get in the way. So NLP, I believe, is actually very simple and it's a lot of fun as well. Number 3 misconception about NLP, again, maybe it comes from the name. NLP's middle word is linguistic. So a lot of people think that NLP is all about language. And in a way it is, but it's not all about spoken language or written language. There is another language that we have inside of us that we're not always consciously aware of. And that is the language of the subconscious mind. NLP is actually far more about studying the language of the mind, what I like to call the programming language of the mind. You came into this earth with the most magnificent supercomputer in the universe. You are stunning. You are phenomenal. But if you're like most people, you've actually locked off and shut off the subconscious mind, and you don't know how amazing you are. Once you actually figure out how to unlock that door and get access to the subconscious mind, life can be amazing. The first half of my life, the first 25 years, were pretty much a disaster. I went through things like trauma, neglect, abuse, homelessness, natural disaster that literally we lost everything we owned. I went through everything except for drug addiction. Pretty much I've been through in the first 25 years of my life. The last 25 years, almost 26 years in a couple of weeks of my life have been amazing. They've literally been a dream, a life that I did not know that I could have. And it all came from learning not just language this way, but the internal language of the mind. NLP is like the lost user manual for the mind. And once you learn how to run your mind no longer runs you anymore. And that's the thing. For the first 25 years of my life was pretty much crap because my mind was running me. All the things that were in there at the subconscious level I didn't know about, things like negative emotions, anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, shame, humiliation, resentment, all of those things, all my limiting beliefs and limiting decisions that were trapped in there at the unconscious level, all of my values conflicts, all of that was running me. And so no matter what I did to change my life sucked. I hated my life. And it wasn't until I learned NLP and learned that internal language. And of course the external language helps as well, right? We do teach things like how to communicate with excellence, how to communicate leadership, how to sell better, how to negotiate. All of those things are part of the language as well, but it's not all about spoken language or written language. It really is more about the internal language of the mind. Number 2, this is a big one for most people. NLP can only be done to others. This is, I think, not just a common misconception, but a damaging misconception. I actually got into the field of NLP because, frankly, I hated myself. I did not like myself. I was 25 years old. I was miserable in my job. I did not have a college education. I had a young son. And I was fresh off the streets, homeless off the streets at 19 years old, and I was rebuilding my life and didn't know what I wanted to do in life, didn't know where I wanted to go in life. I was just sort of bumping along. And the reason why I got into NLP was because I wanted to fix myself. It actually turned out once I fixed myself, then I wanted to help other people with it. And so this is a misconception. Every single NLP technique that I can think of can be done to self. You can anchor yourself, you can change your own submodalities, you can elicit your own strategies, you can change your own strategies, you can do your own parts integrations, you can hypnotize yourself, you can do time techniques with yourself, you can release limiting beliefs. Everything that you can do in the field of NLP can be done to self. And I wish more people knew that, because unfortunately there are some people that learn NLP and they're out there helping others, but they haven't gotten the help they need themselves. And I started with me. I was my very first client. So you can absolutely do NLP to self. I would say probably 50% of people who come to our trainings, they're not even there for the certification. They're there because they want to fix their own life. They want to fix themselves. They want to understand themselves. Why do they do the things they do? You know, I'll tell you, for the first 25 years of my life, people would say, why'd you do that? And I go, I don't know, right? It was like my mind was running me. Then I learned how to run my mind instead. So NLP can absolutely be done to self. And I think that's the best place to start. I don't think you should wait until you're completely fixed, because I'm a work in progress. I've been doing this for 26 years and I still work on myself every day. But you should be working on yourself as well as working on other people. And then finally, number one, most common misconception about NLP is that NLP is expensive. And I hear this all the time. And my first question when people say NLP is expensive, as I say, compared to what? You know, most people, well, I would say at least half the people who come to an NLP practitioner training are there because they want a new career. Where else do you go when you want a new career? Well, most people go to college. And I don't know about you, but most colleges cost $100,000, $200,000, $400,000 to go to college. People have to get a loan because they don't tend to have that kind of money laying around, especially when you're 18, 19, 20 years old. They go get a loan, and the loans, I think this is criminal, but the loans are actually set up in a way where you can't pay off the principal. You have to pay off the interest for years and years and years and years, so you don't end up paying what you actually paid. You end up paying a lot more than that. Some people die never paying off their college tuition. NLP practitioner trainings range anywhere from $4,000 to $10,000, right? And while some people call that expensive, man, I look at how much money I've made in the field in the last 24 years, and I don't focus on money. I'm mission driven, but man, like that is just a tiny, tiny drop in the bucket compared to what I've made using NLP in the field. And so, you know, when people say it's expensive, you know, $4,000, $3,500 to come to a practitioner training, I look at them and I'm like, don't you want to make like a career out of this? Are you expecting to make what, $30,000, $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 a year? I mean, I've made that and far more myself. That's not a promise of income. I'm not saying you'll make that, because Federal Trade Commission makes me say that. I can't promise you'll make anything in the field of NLP. But if you want that, if that's something that you expect, and that's the reason why you're going into the field, doesn't it make sense to invest something into it? So that's what I say. For professional certification trainings, which do tend to be in the low thousands, it's an investment, right? It's not an expense, it's an investment. However, if you just want to learn NLP for yourself, you can get some of that for free. Head on over to our website at freenlphomestudy.com. And I've got a 10-hour NLP course there that you can watch, and it's entirely free. And that's we've had, I think, somewhere close to 30,000 people go through that course. People rave about it. It's going to teach you all kinds of things about yourself, about your mind, about speaking to other people, about NLP techniques that work, all kinds of great stuff. You're going to learn real NLP techniques in that course. So again, that website is freenlphomestudy.com. That's www.freenlphomestudy.com. Costs $0 to get into the course. And I know you're going to love it. So take that. NLP is expensive, because that is a misconception. All right. I hope you love this video. And if you do, you can head over to our main website, which is transformdestiny.com. Jump on our email list there on the front page, and I'll just give you a bunch of NLP gifts just for getting on the email list. I'm going to give you free books, free training, all kinds of great stuff for getting on the list. And I will publish regular articles and other things that I know you will love. Again, that's www.transformdestiny.com. And I hope you like this video, and keep your eye out for the next one. Bye. Okay, if you like this video, hit that subscribe button. I'm posting NLP and related videos every single day, and I know you'll love them. And if you want priority notification every time I post a video, hit that bell button too, and keep an eye out for the next video.